Good morning or afternoon, sorry, I got off to a late start. So we're currently on the London Bridge. Behind me is Tower Bridge where I went to my first day. This is day 5. There's someone attempting suicide over there, which is quite unfortunate. Hopefully they have the police trying to talk them off. That's not a bright start to the day, but look at it. And so everyone's just casually walking over London Bridge. I am on my way to London Bridge Station to get the train to Greenwich. So I'm going to Greenwich. I'm going to see the Greenwich Prime Meridian, the start of the time zones. I'm supposed to love it there. It literally just rained and then stopped raining. It was the first time it rained since I've been here. And now we're having good weather. For how long, we don't know, but we're going to enjoy it. I can't believe I actually got a shot of Tower Bridge rising. Wow. Imagine being stuck on the other side and trying to get to where you're supposed to go.
I made it to the station, but at this point it started pouring rain again. In fact, it went from rain to hail. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a really bad day, but I was like, trek on. So hopped on the train, easy, like 2 stops away from London, straight to Greenwich, where I just walked around for a bit, had lunch, and then started my day.
So we made it to Greenwich. I had fish and chips for the first time. It was disgusting. I will never eat it again. I didn't even get to finish it, so that was almost 14 pounds wasted. But we're here. We're at the Maritime Museum, and there's this gorgeous installation behind me with a number of gold globes in a circle, and I think it represents the transatlantic slave trade and how people from various countries were here at this point at some point. And so, for example, we have designers who create the globe and then tell the stories of the persons who were here. So I'll just read out one. Let me just turn. I was here. The transatlantic trade enslaved Africans meant millions of lives were ended and lost to history. Here we honor our ancestors by acknowledging a person we were able to identify by name at a specific time and place. We cannot know their story, but we know that they lived. So we have Eliza Coakley, 22, Grenada, and she was here because, you know, slavery sucks. But this is a beautiful installation, and it's really nice if you just take a moment to go ahead and learn more about the various people who are here. Maritime Museum in the backdrop, which I'm gonna go check out. And then up there in the distance is the Royal Observatory, which apparently has the best view of London. And then over there is the Queen's House. So we're doing a lot of walking today, but taking in the artwork, taking in nature. It went from hail to this. That's the shocking thing. It was hailing when I was at London Bridge Station, and now it's good weather. So I need to walk as quickly as I can and get as much good weather in as possible. But yeah, let's start Greenwich tour.
Made it into the museum. Of course, it's free. This is one of the royal barges that was actually used, and I really like this museum because of the maritime influence, and then it had a lot of sections for kids to play around in also.
So this is quite cute. We found the Empire Windrush, which is one of the first boats to take over. Caribbean nationals who were invited by the Empire to go to England and rebuild after World War II. So I'm just gonna push my fellow Caribbeans right over to the United Kingdom. And then 50, 70 years later, they tried to kick them out. Sorry. I shouldn't laugh. It's quite sad. But that's kind of cool. It's nice that we were included. So I'm currently in an area that talks about the life of Toussaint Louverture. And if you're from the Caribbean, listen, we don't play with history and slavery and stuff. You learn that in history. So it's like one of the first rebellions by black slaves. You can hear like a voiceover. So that's a little difference between Western education versus Caribbean education, we learned about the ancestors who fought back and won. So I'm glad they included him because don't sugarcoat it. He brought us over. He killed millions, hundred millions, thousands of us. Okay, here we go. More of the resistance. And this is a picture of a captain of the Maroons. And if you're Jamaican, you know the Maroons were like free slaves who were like, get the hell out. We're going to fight back. And they're actually still descendants of Maroons in Jamaica. They live in Maroon Town in Portland, St. Thomas area, and also in Westmoreland, Hanover area. And yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I went from learning about slavery to touring the home of one of the oppressors, Queen Elizabeth I. And it's always kind of weird for me visiting these palaces and places, but they're so pretty and I like the architecture. I'm conflicted.
So this is like the second palace or house I'm touring. And the thing that's like surprising for me is they're kind of small. They look big and opulent outside, but they're small inside. And we have to think about the people who lived there and the staff that they had and how did they fit all these people. So I'm guessing like the rest of the land had servants' quarters and stuff, but say you were having this grand like palace ball, you would just be in this little area down there. But somehow they did it. Queen's house complete. Now I'm going to climb up that very tall hill. It's not that tall, you know, I don't want to. I don't like to climb things, but we'll go up there, and that's the Royal Observatory, and Greenwich Time Meridian is that way. Don't actually know where I'm going, what I'm doing, because I don't have Wi-Fi. That's the Queen's house behind me there. Isn't it opulent? It's so fancy. So yeah, we're just tracking along, and then when the map tells me I'm somewhere, I'll be there and I'll let you know. So the thing I'm loving the most about this trip so far is all the green spaces within the city area. This park, Greenwich Park, is so nice, and you know the weather is actually perfect. It's not too hot, not too cold, so I'm enjoying this aspect where I can walk around literally for hours. For example, I've done 9,000 steps already for today, but I'm not sweating, I'm not hot, I'm not miserable yet. My back is kind of hurting a little, but it's not bad weather. So I think that I picked the absolute best time to come, which was the beginning of May, and I'm assuming that's why they scheduled the coronation for tomorrow, even though it's going to be pouring rain. But otherwise, yeah, it's been the perfect weather for walking around all over the city. The last time I had to walk up a hill like this was in Wakayama, Japan, 4 years ago. I am not used to it, but there's a view of the city. Is it worth the climb? Obviously, but I'm out of breath even though I go to the gym 3 times a week. I am out of breath, but that's the Royal Observatory behind me here. I'll meet you at the top.
So walking up that hill to see the view was totally worth it, paying almost 30 Canadian dollars to go inside the observatory. I'm still on the fence about that. If you're into stargazing and astronomy, yes, it's worth it because you get to learn about these old telescopes, how they used to map the stars. Halley of the Halley's Comet, this is where he hung out. And of course the prime meridian line, you literally get to straddle the line where the earth is split into the different halves, and the time zones begin.
The prime meridian is just out here. I'm inside. Right now I'm on the east, as you can see by the sign. So right now I'm on the east of the world. Cross over, cross over, cross over. Now I'm on the west. West of the world. East.
And a lot of these old ass telescopes actually still work, but they don't use them that often. I would love to just be one of the few persons get to just use them on a wonderful starlit night. And I guess this is where paying the entry fee money comes into hand, where you can actually come and straddle the line and take those touristy kind of pictures. It was too crowded for me, but the nice thing is that they have the longitude, latitude, location of different cities on it. Kingston, Jamaica was on it, which was really cool. And then if you don't want to pay admission, there's also this point where you can take pictures outside like I did.
Quick train ride, and I made it to Green Park, and now they're caroling, you know what you do with cows, to the screen inside, and the crowd is insane. I don't think I'm gonna be able to see anything, but I will be able to tell my grandkids I was there. No, this is incredible. I wish I had some of the, like the souvenir stuff, like the crowns and stuff that they have, but I think that would be taking it too far. But no, let me just give you a view of all the people trying to get to the screen inside. Way more. I'm not even early. You have people who are on the mall who will be able to see the carriage. I'm not going to be able to see the carriage. No. But they're on the mall. They camped for the last 3 days, and I'm not going to do that because I like to bathe. But anyways, so we're almost there, I think. I don't know. I'll check back with you when we actually get to the screen inside. I had a choice to make. Go and join the line to go into the viewing area, or look at the horses coming by.
And just as the ceremony was about to begin, it started pouring rain. But I got there in time to see representative from Jamaica there, and then we saw Charles and Camilla leave in that gorgeous stagecoach, and there were cheers from the crowd. Everyone was so happy just to be there and being this big crowd, excited crowd to see this moment in history. And say what you might about Charles, I like him because he's an environmentalist. He loves everything about protecting the environment, and he's the king of England now, and there's nothing you can do to change that. But at this point, I was over the rain, I was wet, I was miserable, and I left to beat the crowds and just go home and watch the rest of the events on TV. But I was there in London for Coronation Day. And after a 3-hour nap, I actually went to Piccadilly Circus, which is like the busiest part of London, just for my final night in London with my friends, and we saw the Mary Poppins statue. And then I had to go home. I had to leave. I really, really, really didn't want to leave. I loved everything about London. It's such an easy city to travel around by yourself, and my vacation was over. But I'm very proud of myself. This is the first solo trip I've ever taken internationally, and it was a really good time. So London, till next time, bye.